Hello. So today we are starting Endless Night by Agatha Christie. I'm reading it digitally, so I'll have it on screen just there. So this is, I think, my fourth Agatha Christie. Agatha Christie is an author that hasn't been a huge hit for me, though I have really enjoyed a couple of her books. There's also elements of her stories that always kind of just don't draw me to the next one, if that makes sense. So I have really enjoyed, for instance, And Then There Were None, but I haven't explored very many of her books. For whatever reason, in the winter season, I just really wanted to read another Agatha Christie, so I decided on Endless Night. I mentioned in a TBR that I was interested in doing a vlog kind of chronicling my time through it, trying to solve a mystery, trying to be more engaged, see if that helps me be a little bit more invested in her stories. I got a couple of comments saying this is probably not the book to do that with because there isn't really a mystery to be solved so much as just a story to read, which I don't know what that means, but so anyway, I'm just gonna chronicle my journey. I'm still gonna try to suss out whodunit, whatever it is. I don't know much about this book at all going into it, but I have already at this point in the book read the first 10 chapters. So at this point in the review, no spoilers because I haven't finish the book, or at this point in the video. Once I get to the end of the video, when things have been revealed and we get to the mystery solving element of it, I will warn you before I go into spoilers, but you can enjoy the journey up to that point. Or if you don't plan on reading this book, then you can just hang out with me for this video. Because this is apparently a book where there isn't much solving to be done, since there's a couple of other people on the Discord that have already started the book as well and are trying to work through it alongside of me, I'm also going to include some of their theories. We're gonna compete, see if I can outsmart them. Probably not. But anyway, in the first 10 chapters of Endless Night, so far, I'm really enjoying myself. We're following a man named Michael who develops this sort of obsession. He seems to actually have this fixation tendency. So there's this land, there's this piece of property that he's very, very interested in and kind of imagines a life on it and imagines like building a home and a family with someone that he loves. Though he has none of these things, he imagines a life there, and that sort of becomes a high interest to him. Then he sees a woman sitting under a tree and boom, that's his woman. He's like, I love her, like it's very quick. Lucky for him, it's very quick for her too. They both develop this interest in each other. They have this whirlwind relationship, quick marriage. And for me, at this point in the story, they're purchasing the property, they're gonna build on that property, they're gonna build a life there, even though that property is known to have a curse on it, which is why nobody else is buying it, is interested in purchasing that land. So that's the elements here. We have Michael, we're in his perspective, we're hearing everything from his voice, and he has this sort of nomadic life up to this point where he kind of just is a bit of a drifter as far as work, as far as attachments. Like, we know he doesn't have a strong relationship with his mom and he's not really tied down to anything. He kind of is described as a nomad, much like the setting of the story has that nomadic element as well. He's also not very likable. he's not a character that is always fun to be in the head of. We the reader, I don't think are supposed to be like, oh, Michael, what a stand-up guy. So that's him. And then Ellie, the woman that he has fallen in love with, she also has quite a bit of intrigue around her. They've gotten married, but after they have gotten engaged and after they have established a relationship together, then these things start unfolding about her life, like that she actually is the inheritor of this huge fortune, and she is a part of a family that is very well known and has a bit of a legacy about them, and she's just gonna run away and get married and like hope for the best, I guess. She keeps just dropping names of different family members that Michael is just like, oh, another uncle. Okay, I guess he's just part of this estate. I don't know. And he's like not asking a lot of questions. She's not quickly telling her family about him or about this future that they've decided for themselves because she's worried about the friction that it will cause. And there just seems to be a lot that she's not forfeiting about herself. And it could be for fear of him getting intimidated and wanting to bail, or it could be for fear of, like, she has this romantic idea of kind of getting out of her gilded cage, getting out of the watchful eye of everything around her. And so she's just hopeful that if she dodges all the conflict, then the conflict will just disappear, like this kind of naivete about her. But she also has this really close relationship with Greta, who was, I guess, kind of like her nanny. Like she takes care of her. She takes care of her affairs. She helps manage her life, and they've had a very close relationship for a long time. And Ellie is very, very attached to Greta. There's a very close relationship between them, one that Michael doesn't really appreciate. Like, he doesn't want Greta at the wedding. He doesn't want her involved in the planning of anything. He doesn't want her around. And Michael, coming from more of a nomadic life and more of a, he doesn't have a lot of money. He doesn't have a lot of standing in society. Him coming from a very, very different situation than Ellie, it could just be like, I'm trying to forge a new life with this woman. I don't want her baggage and her, her life coming with me. But there's also kind of like, why are you so opposed? Like, why is it such a strong opposition to even, you haven't even met Greta yet and you've just determined she's bad for you. I don't want her as a part of any of this. Anyway, so that's the setup. We have Michael, who he is our perspective. He's the voice that we're in, and he has developed this fixation on this property and this fixation on this woman. This woman seems to be using Michael as, not using him, but Ellie, she seems to view Michael as a sort of like romantic escape and new life together. And the property that they've purchased to develop that new life that they're both dreaming of has a curse on it. So that's the setup here. I'm immediately sus of Ellie, even though Michael is not a character. Like, I do side-eye him a little bit, but I'm like, whatever it is in this whodunit, because I still don't know, because there is no mystery yet. There's no opposition really posed at all, other than her family might not appreciate her, running away and getting married. There's really just not much happening right now, and that's not a complaint at all, because I'm loving it. But whatever it is going to be in this book, I think Ellie did it. Because she seems so secretive. Like, she seems like, why are you keeping this much from him? I respect wanting to tell him slowly about your life, but now he knows. Why does he still not really know anything about it? You've just kind of given him the facts without any details. So I'm just watching her. I'm watching Greta. I don't know. Ellie is on my suspect list. In chapter 10, we also have a prediction from Lynn, who is also reading this book. And this was built off of suspicions from having read other Christie books and just saying, well, with the way Christie writes, I'm thinking that it's possible that Greta and Michael, Greta, again, being the one that kind of manages Ellie's life, Greta and Michael actually knew each other prior to the start of the story, probably in a relationship, and they've hatched a plan to get Ellie's money and kill her off. So that's a crazy one, especially because I respect it. I respect it because Michael is so opposed to Greta being at the wedding and so opposed to really meeting her, and just immediately is just like, get Greta out of my life. I'm okay with Michael. I mean, I'm not okay with. I understand. I would get on board with Michael and Greta having known each other and having some sort of fallout. Like maybe they've had friction in the past, and Michael's just like, I don't want Greta to know that I'm now married to Ellie. Now that I know that Greta is a part of Ellie's life, I don't want that. And while I haven't noticed anything that would make me suspicious that Michael already knew that Ellie was wealthy when he met her. It seemed like a mutual, like, we've created these ideals in our mind of what our life together would be like, so let's run away and create something new together, and it just kind of worked out this way. I would totally, if this is what happens, I would totally be down for that, because that's just like so dramatic and fun. Sanbun, who's also reading this with us, mentions that he really doesn't like Michael, and because of that he likes Lynn's theory, feeling like Michael is less innocent than he seems. He said, could have met while Michael was driving for rich people. Maybe Ellie or her family were the obnoxious people that made him quit. So Sanbun and Lynn have created an alliance. So it's me against the world. We also have one more person that's reading as well, but no theories have been posed. So that is the first update. Welcome to the vlog. Okay, so I've just finished chapter 16 and I have so many thoughts. I'm not yet at the end of part 2, but I wanted to check in while I had a moment. It's funny because there are 3 other people that are reading this book with me right now, and all 3 of them consider it boring. Up to this point, people's interest has been piqued in this last section, but I'm the only one that's just like, I have loved every minute of this. Like, I have enjoyed this book so much. It feels a little bit Du Maurier, just in that it has like a gothic sort of feel to it. Not that it feels like as atmospheric as Du Maurier writes, but it does feel more on that side of things. Just like this kind of what's going on, who can we trust, not really knowing if you can, not really knowing whose word you can take, little things being said like, oh, she seems lovely, it's a shame. And it's like, what do you mean? You know, just like questioning everything in more of a, like, there's a curse here, something's happening, and less of a, you know, there was a murder, now we have a mystery. So I'm really enjoying it in that way. The inciting incident, I won't talk about it because it goes so far. It happens so far into the book, or the initial inciting incident, which is the friction that comes when they move into the house and things don't go perfectly smoothly once they move in, and people start reacting, and people start acting a little bit more over the top. But I'm loving it because I continue to suspect the same character. Ellie is still at the top of my suspect list. I'm also kind of side-eyeing Michael's mom a little bit now, but I'm still just like, you just seem to be hiding stuff, and like your reactions, like it's possible that you're just a spoiled brat that is sheltered, that you don't really, you just immediately start stomping your foot and crying out, or maybe you know some stuff. Maybe you're aware of why somebody might be sabotaging things, or why somebody might be responding in a way that isn't peaceful to your new life. Like, I don't know. It seems like the more we see the people in her life, the more I'm suspect of her. And we've met Greta, and I love her as an addition to the story because she's not at all what I expected. You know, the way she is kind of built up to, you have this image in your mind, and then you meet her and she's just a totally different personality than I expected, and I love it. Like, she's far more manipulative and assertive, and no wonder Ellie is so anxious for her approval on everything and wants everyone to like her and wants her to like everything about their house and their life. And it's because of the way she acts. It's because she's just like, it's fine. The house is fine. I've already seen it. Like, she just has this sort of air about her where she knows how to toy with Ellie's emotions and knows how to get the worst out of people. I don't know why, but I expected someone far more meek and someone who, well, I mean, she has been employed by Ellie all this time, so I thought she would act like someone under the employ, not someone who has the actual like power in the dynamic, emotional power in the dynamic between the two of them. I love it. Let's see what else is going on. I will note that Lynn, the one that predicted all that stuff at the beginning, continues to be suspicious of Greta, which fair. But I'm gonna stand by my theory. I'm gonna keep saying what I think because I need to win. Even though Ellie doesn't actually seem that suspicious anymore, I'm standing my ground so that I can be on the winning team. Or delete footage if it turns out I'm wrong. Anyway, I am still loving this book. I'm having so much fun with it, even though it's really just not doing much. Like, there's not that much happening, but I just am really enjoying getting to know these characters and kind of trying to figure out who I should be suspect of and what even is going to be, because not very much really has escalated. So wondering, is it even going to be a supernatural, like, element? Like, does the curse even matter, or is it just hearsay? Are the people suspect or not? Like, there's still so much that it seems like it's not interesting, but I think I just like gothic tales, and this has that sort of gothic vibe to it. And so it's just working for me. Anyway, I think I'm at the point of the book where I probably can't do any more spoiler-free check-ins, so I'll probably just finish the book now. I didn't expect to read the whole thing in one day, but I think I'm going to at this point because it's just going by so fast and I'm enjoying myself. So I think I'm going to just finish it off and then I'll check in with you, and that'll be the spoiler part of this vlog. So I finished, and I'll give you my spoiler-free thoughts first. I loved this book. I thought it was so fun. It was very, I don't know, everybody said it was slow. I didn't think it was slow. I feel like methodical is just a cheap way of saying slow, so I don't know what to tell you. It was not, there wasn't action happening. There weren't any major plot points. It was very focused on the buildup of these characters, intrigue, making everything seem suspicious and laying little clues about who could be behind what eventually goes on but doesn't go on for a while. And I thought it was all fun. Like, I enjoyed every bit of it. Again, it was very similar to some other classic stories that I really, really love, that I understand why some people don't jive with as much, but it fits me and my taste. And then when things started happening, it was like boom, boom, boom. Around every corner, something major is happening. Once the chaos began, it did not stop. And one major complaint in my Discord was how melodramatic the ending was, and I would just like to say it was so melodramatic in just the best way possible. I had so much fun with this book, and I feel like I can't I still probably don't think that Agatha Christie is an author that I'm gonna read a ton from, but I do think that this was probably the best Agatha Christie book for me. This is the most needy cat that I've ever known in the world. If I'm anywhere, then he needs to be right there too, and if I'm not sitting down, then he's offended that he can't be snuggling me in that moment. Okay, on to spoilers. So the chaos really just didn't stop, did it? As soon as Ellie, my main suspect, was killed, and that was the actual big whodunit at the end of part 2. And then it's like, there is no guessing whodunit. We just run, we just sprint, because now the other main suspect is also thrown down a quarry. Why have I never learned how to say that word? And then things just start falling into place, and it's clear what actually happened. The reason Mom said that very suspect thing about she seems nice, it's such a shame, is because she knows the nature of her son and the fact that he's just been a killer all his life. He's just so murderous. Like, he doesn't care. Anything to gain money or stature, he'll do. I mean, oh my goodness. And Lynn called it, like, from the jump, called it so precisely. Michael and Greta were in it from the start. I mean, talk about playing the long game. Greta working for Ellie for so long to gain her trust so that they could kill her and then kill the lady who scared her on her horse, and then also I think there was another death too somewhere in there, now I'm forgetting, only for then Michael to lose it and start hallucinating and end up strangling Greta, and this whole story is told from the perspective of Michael in an asylum. I mean, what a great twist. It was clear from the beginning that this is a retroactive story told by Michael all the time. He was like, and then the beginning of the rest of our lives began, the beginning of Happily Ever After began, or did it, right? Like, we were going to be happy forever, or so it seemed, right? So it was very clear from the beginning that Michael is telling the story as a retrospective. Never did I expect that it was like, as I'm locked up because I've killed everyone in my life that I ever thought I loved. Also, the fact that Michael kept saying stuff like, oh, the woman who owns me, and my heart is captured by a woman. He talks of his undying, immovable love. And never did I pick up that he never actually said Ellie's name. He was just talking about her abstractly. Obviously, it was not Ellie. Obviously, there was another woman that he was actually trying to build a life with, and he was just using Ellie all this time. It was just such a wild ending. Like, it was just, it's so funny because even though my friend laid it out. Like she guessed it almost to a T. Even though that happened, I still just at the end of the book was just like, like just so shocked around every new twist. It was so fun. This book was just so chaotic. It was just so fun. Anyway, this was definitely not a mystery book. This was more of just I don't even know what this vlog was, but I hope you liked it. I hope you had fun. I enjoyed this book a lot. So if you know of other books like this, maybe not with the same exact twist, or you know what, with the same twist, because I didn't care about knowing, I didn't know what was going to happen, but you know, when everything unraveled exactly as my friend predicted, I didn't think, oh man, it was spoiled for me. Like, it was still so much fun to watch. I'm just not a spoiler sensitive person. Not that she spoiled me, but you know, it's just like, I just want to watch it happen. And it was so crazy. So if you would like to recommend a book for me like this, with the same twist, with totally different twists, I'm just always in the mood for something like this. So feel free to recommend more in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video, even though it wasn't quite what I thought it was going to be in the TBR video. I still had fun just documenting this wild ride. Please do chat with me more in the comments. I'll see you again soon. Bye.